Are you waiting for courage to feel real before you act? Let's be honest for a moment. In the quiet space between you and the screen, look at that list on your desk, or the one that lives perpetually in your mind. The one with the big, audacious dream. The one with the difficult conversation you know you need to have. The one with the first step toward a healthier life, a new career, a mended relationship. It sits there, doesn't it? Staring back at you. And you wait. You wait for a surge of confidence, a lightning bolt of bravery, a sign from the heavens that says now. Now you are ready. Now you are fearless. We've been taught through movies and stories that courage is a feeling. It's the absence of fear. It's the swelling music as the hero, suddenly certain and unafraid, marches toward their destiny. But that's a myth. And that myth is keeping you stuck. It's a gentle, comfortable, and completely paralyzing lie. We tell ourselves, I'll do it when I feel brave enough. But what if brave isn't a feeling you wait for? What if it's a decision you make? Courage usually starts before you feel brave. It begins not with a roar, but with a whisper. It's born in the tremble of a hand reaching for a pair of running shoes when every part of you wants to stay in bed. It's found in the deep, shaky breath you take before you pick up the phone. It's the quiet, unseen, uncelebrated choice to act in spite of the fear, not in the absence of it. Courage is a verb. It is an action. It is a step. It is the decision to move, even just an inch, when every instinct is screaming at you to stay put, to stay safe, to stay where you are. The feeling of bravery, that sense of confidence you're waiting for, it doesn't show up at the starting line. It meets you along the way. It's a reward for taking the first step, not a prerequisite. So how do we do it? How do we manufacture this action when the feeling isn't there? It's not about psyching yourself up or pretending the fear doesn't exist. It's about having a better strategy, a divine strategy. In our time together today, we're going to unpack a simple, powerful framework for generating courage when you feel you have none. We'll explore 3 foundational moves that will shift you from waiting to acting. And I'll give you a simple, concrete micro-challenge you can use to start building your courage muscle, beginning today. This isn't about a one-time heroic leap. This is about learning to walk in a new way, a braver way, one small step at a time. Our entire framework is anchored in one of the most powerful commands and promises in all of Scripture. It's found in Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Let's just sit with that for a moment. To understand the weight of these words, you have to understand Joshua's situation. His mentor, the legendary Moses, is dead. The entire nation of Israel, millions of people, are now looking to him. And what's his job? To lead them into the Promised Land, a territory occupied by fierce enemies, walled cities, and literal giants. Can you imagine the fear, the crushing weight of responsibility, the overwhelming sense of inadequacy? Joshua wasn't a superhero. He was a man. He felt fear just like you and I do. And into that very real, very human fear, God doesn't say, "Don't worry, you'll feel brave soon." He gives a command. Be strong and courageous. It's an instruction. It's a call to a chosen posture. This tells us that strength and courage are not primarily feelings to be felt, but choices to be made. And notice the reason God gives. He doesn't say, "Be strong because you are so capable." He doesn't say, "Be courageous because your plan is foolproof." The foundation for the command is the promise that follows. For the Lord, your God, is with you wherever you go. That's it. That's the secret. Courage isn't sourced from within us. It's sourced from the presence of God alongside us. It's not about mustering our own strength. It's about accessing His. This is why waiting for feelings keeps us stuck. When we wait to brave, we are relying on ourselves. We are looking inward for a resource that is fickle and fleeting. Our feelings change with the weather, with how much sleep we got, with a passing comment from a stranger. They are a terrible foundation upon which to build a life of purpose. But God's presence? That is an unshakable reality. It is the solid rock beneath our feet. The choice to be courageous, then, is a choice to believe that promise more than we believe our fear. It's a choice to act on the truth of His presence, even when the feeling of His presence feels distant. So let's get practical. How do we live this out? This brings us to our first move. The first move is to take small, obedient steps. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and the conquest of the Promised Land began with a single step across the Jordan River. Your great God-given assignment will begin the same way. Notice the two words, small and obedient. We focus on small because our fear brain is allergic to big, audacious leaps. When we think about writing a book, we freeze. But when we think about writing one sentence, it's manageable. When we think about getting in shape, we feel overwhelmed. But when we think about putting on our running shoes, it's doable. Small steps bypass our internal resistance. They are too insignificant for our fear to mobilize against. They are the secret weapon against procrastination and paralysis. The second word is obedient. This is what makes the step an act of faith. It's not just any small action. It's the one you feel God nudging you toward. It's listening for that still small voice that says, send the email, make the call. Apologize first. Write down the idea. Obedience is our part. It's our yes to God's invitation. We take the small step, and we trust Him to infuse it with His power and purpose. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step in faith. The second move is visual rehearsal and planning. This is where we take the scary, abstract thing and make it concrete and manageable. On your courage plan page, you don't write, be more confident. That's a feeling. Instead, you write down the small, obedient step. You script it out. If the scary thing is a phone call, you write down the first sentence you will say. If it's starting a new project, you write down the first 3 tasks in order. This act of planning externalizes the anxiety. It takes the monster out of the closet and puts it on a piece of paper, where you can see it's not a monster at all, but just a series of small, manageable actions. But then we add the faith component, visual rehearsal. This isn't just about visualizing success. It's about prayerfully visualizing God's presence in the act. Close your eyes and see yourself not just making the call, but making the call with the peace of God guarding your heart. See yourself walking into that room, not with your own charisma, but clothed in His strength. You are rehearsing your dependence on Him. You are actively remembering the promise of Joshua 1:9. You are preparing your mind and spirit to act, not on your own, but as a co-laborer with the God of the universe. This practice transforms a moment of fear into an act of worship. This leads us to the third and most critical move. Anchor your identity in God, not in outcomes. This is the linchpin. The reason we fear taking a step is because we fear the potential outcome. We fear failure. We fear rejection. We fear looking foolish. Why? Because we have attached our sense of self-worth to the outcome. If I succeed, I am valuable. If I fail, I am worthless. This is a crushing weight to live under, and it will always paralyze you. But the gospel offers us a radical freedom. Your identity is not up for grabs. It is not determined by your performance. Your worth was permanently and irrevocably established at the cross. You are a beloved child of God. Full stop. When you truly begin to believe this, to let it sink from your head into the deepest parts of your heart, it changes everything. The outcome of your courageous act loses its power over you. If you make the call and get rejected, you are still a beloved child of God. If you launch the business and it fails, you are still a beloved child of God. If you share your heart and are misunderstood, you are still a beloved child of God. Your task is not to guarantee a successful outcome. Your task is to be obedient to the small step God has called you to. The results are in His hands. When your identity is anchored in Him, you are free to act, free to try, free to risk, and yes, even free to fail, because your core worth is never, ever on the line. These small yes actions, repeated over and over, become habit-forming courage. Courage is a muscle. The more you use it on the small things, the stronger it gets for the big things. So, let's build that muscle. Here is your micro challenge. 3 simple actions to start today. A. Say one yes each day. Identify the one small, obedient step God is prompting you to take. It might be incredibly small. Saying yes to putting your phone down and being present with your family. Saying yes to 5 minutes of prayer. Saying yes to drinking a glass of water. Or it might be the yes you've been avoiding. Yes, I will send that email. Yes, I will make that appointment. Yes, I will start the first paragraph. Just one yes. Write it down. Commit to it. B. Record one success. At the end of the day, open that same journal or a note on your phone and record the fact that you did it. This is not about pride. This is about evidence. Our brains are wired to focus on our failures and shortcomings. You must be intentional about documenting your obedience and God's faithfulness. Writing "I did it" or "I sent the email" is a powerful act of remembrance. It's building a personal history of courage. It's creating a catalog of evidence that when you act, God is with you. On future days when fear feels overwhelming, you can look back at this log and see a record of your strength, a testimony to your progress. C. Share one short update publicly. This might be the most courageous step of all. Share your small victory. You don't have to share the details. A simple post, a text to a friend, a comment in a group that says, "I took my one small, courageous step today." This does 2 powerful things. First, it creates positive accountability. Second, and more importantly, it demystifies courage for others. Your vulnerability gives someone else permission to be brave. It shows them that courage is for ordinary people, not just heroes. It turns your personal victory into a collective encouragement, multiplying its impact. So let's bring it all home. The life of courage you desire doesn't start with a feeling. It starts with a choice. It starts with a breath. It starts with a single step. Begin with one breath, one step, and give yourself permission to be imperfect in the process. God isn't asking for a flawless performance. He is asking for a willing heart that trusts His presence more than it fears the outcome. He is looking for a yes. This is not a quick fix. It is a way of life. But I promise you, in weeks, in months, these small yeses, these tiny daily acts of obedience, will compound. They will build on each other. The muscle will grow stronger. And one day, you will look back and realize you are no longer waiting for courage. You are living it. You will see that God has been with you, just as He promised, wherever you go. And you will find yourself standing in a new place, a place of freedom and purpose, a braver life that was built not by a single leap, but by 1,000 small, faithful steps. Your journey starts now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now. What is your first yes? What is the one small, obedient step you will take today? I want you to make it real. Comment below and declare your first yes. Let this community be the first to witness your courage and cheer you on. Your declaration is an act of faith. And to give you a tool to walk this out, we've created a free Courage to Start devotional guide. It will help you track your daily yeses, record your successes, and dive deeper into the promise of God's presence. Click the link in the description to download it now. Don't wait. Start today. Take the first step.